You know, you're so lucky to be in the presence of Michael Does Life, because Michael Does Life is the only veteran video game critic here on this platform, and the only one who's willing to step up to that plate to say, hey, you know what, maybe you should hold your horses on this product right here. And this is why. So we need to come on here and talk more about Cyberpunk 2077, because there's a lot that I want to get off my chest, and there's a lot of red flags that are currently popping up right now as of this recording in regards to Cyberpunk 2077. And I know you're going to disagree, and I know you're going to sit there and say, oh, Michael, I don't care. I mean, I really don't care, to be quite frank. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and get right into it. Cyberpunk 2077's map is going to be a little bit smaller than The Witcher 3. However, let's take that negative and turn it into a positive by saying, hey, it's going to be more denser. So this is what I'm trying to get at here. They love to talk about their game. They love to yap and 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 yap about their game. They love to sit there and say, hey, this is why you're going to love it. But they do very little of showing us why we should care. They do very little of showing us why we should be there day one, because they have these PR folks at the team saying, hey, this is going to be the best thing since sliced bread. But again, they're not showing us at all. And when I'm going out and I'm buying a product, I need to know what I'm getting into. You know what I mean? Like when I go to the car dealership to potentially buy a car, to put money down on a car at a car dealership, bro, they show me the car. They show me the ins and outs. They show me the bells and whistles. I know what I'm getting myself into at the car dealership. And I know you guys are going to sit there and say, oh, that's a terrible example, Michael. Cyberpunk 2077 doesn't cost $45,000. Duh! But the point I'm trying to make here is that all they do right now, at least as of this recording, and this is a huge red flag, is they talk and talk and talk. Hey, you're going to love it. No, stop talking. Stop talking. Stop talking, Cyberpunk, CD Projekt Red, and start freaking showing. Show me the game. And I know you guys are going to sit there and say, well, Michael, they've already showed 45 minutes of gameplay. That was last year. And that footage, and they made this very clear, folks, that footage from last year was not necessarily indicative of what we're going to get come next year. It's not representative of the final product. So it's a nice, piece of content to show and say, hey, this is what we're aiming for, but that's not what we're going to get come 2020. So we can push that aside. It's very fair to push that on the back burner and say, oh, let's keep that in mind, but that's not necessarily what Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be when it's all said and done. Now, you guys are going to sit there and say, well, Michael, there's 15 minutes of footage coming, Michael. Hold your horses. 15 minutes of footage? 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 Huh? No, 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 no. At E3 2019, they showed the press at least 40-something minutes of footage. So why isn't the public getting that same footage that was shown off at E3? I'll tell you why. Another red flag. Because they're not necessarily as confident in this game. They don't want to spill, the goods. Because they're afraid someone's going to go into this footage and start nitpicking and saying, hey, you know what, maybe this isn't going to live up to the hype. Maybe this has been downgraded or so on and so forth. So as a result, because they're not necessarily confident in showing this to the world in a way that makes sense, you're getting a contrived piece of video that's only 15 minutes long, followed by dev interviews where, someone's going to ask some questions to these devs, and they're just going to basically say, hey, we can't talk about that right now. Great question, but we can't talk about that right now. You know what I mean? Or, basically just PR fluff. In those dev interviews. That's the point I'm trying to make. So 15 minutes of footage, we're not getting the full, reveal that was shown off to the press at E3 or whatever other convention, and that's sad because, again, they're not necessarily confident to say, hey, here's that 45-minute showing that we showed to the press, now available to the public. Here's why you should pre-order our game. No, they want to sit there and say, Keanu Reeves, and they want to sit there and talk 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 and oh, you're going to love it. You're gonna love it. Show me, show me, show me, show me, show me why I should care. Show me why I should be there day one. And so far, at least as of this recording, they've done a piss poor job. And ultimately, it's sad. It's really sad. I'm not saying that you shouldn't care about Cyberpunk 2077. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go out and buy this game. But to pre-order now based off of what we have right now available to us, that's something that, if you haven't done so already, hold your horses. Hold your horses on pre-ordering and start putting your thinking cap on. Stop buying into the marketing. They're very clever at marketing these games today, especially with these distribution methods. Hey, it ain't on the Epic Game Store, is it? Oh, fuck. I'm going to go out and immediately buy it now because it's not on the Epic Game Store and it's on GOG.com. DRM free. That is a marketing tool. That's what that is. Wake up. Smell the coffee. Because right now, folks, there's very little reason to care. There's very little reason to be excited about Cyberpunk 2077.